Hi everyone, welcome back to the session. I hope you all are doing good. So welcome you in this particular session where we are going to decode one particular initiative, one particular yojana which has completed its decade, which has completed its 10 years, and we are going to talk about everything which is related to it from the perspective of skills, from the perspective of everything else which is related with this particular initiative. So yes, we are going to talk about this particular initiative which talks about Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Okay. And a decade has been completed of building skills and empowering dreams. Why I have written this particular statement? Because now we are going to read one concept which is related to the static portion first, and then we will jump on to the exact news, exact Kaushal Vikas Yojana, what is everything which is related to it. We'll talk about ministry, we'll talk about the extensions of it as well. So सबसे पहले if I talk about one skills या फिर if I talk about that why there is a need of Kaushal Vikas Yojana and why there is a need of some yojana which is specifically targeting skills. We everyone know, okay, we have a concept which is known as demographic dividend. Okay, we have demographic dividend as a concept. And if I talk about demographic dividend, that means what? Demographic means that here I am talking about one population, that population which is giving me profits, right? Which is giving me profit. It means I am talking about that population which is more asset. Okay, I am not talking about that population which is liability, maybe on the shoulder of the government and maybe on the shoulder of the other individuals also. For example, if I talk about those individuals who are now the retired persons, तो अब वो क्या है कि एक liability है government के ऊपर भी, and elder people specifically उनका ध्यान जो है वो बच्चों को रखना पड़ेगा, although this is the responsibility, but if I talk from the economic perspective, not from the other perspective, economically अगर मैं बात करूँ, so they become liability of the government of India because now they are not serving the country, but they the government have to pay to them. This is what is liability. Asset हमारे कौन से है? Asset है हमारी young population. Okay, young population. And why we are focusing toward the skill? Because this demographic dividend, if I talk about India's population, we are, everyone knows that we are the most populous nation, and the category here and the type of population that I have is young population. ठीक है, जो हमारे पास type of population है वो सारी working age के अंदर आती है. That is the reason मेरे पास ये particular क्या है? मेरे पास ये particular resource है. ठीक है, this is one of the resource that I have, but what I will do of the resource until or unless I am not exploiting it, है ना. अब हमने बहुत बार एग्जाम्पल सुना है कि ठीक है, एक जापान है, एक श्रीलंका है, एक जापान है, एक साउथ अफ्रीका लगा लो, एक जापान है, एक अफ्रीका नेशन है. अब हमेशा डेवलपमेंट जो है उसी स्टेट की होती है. जापान इज अ डेवलपमेंट ऑल्दो इट इज हैविंग वेरी लेस ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज विद इट, बट व्हाई इट इज कंसिडर्ड एज डेवलप्ड इफ आई कंपेयर इट विद द सिचुएशन ऑफ अफ्रीका? बिकॉज जापान जो है एक ऐसा नेशन है जिसने थोड़े रिसोर्सेज का भी अच्छे से जुडिशियस एक्सप्लॉयटेशन करा है. एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द अदर कंट्री, ऑल्दो दैट इज रिच इन रिसोर्सेज, इफ आई कंपेयर इट विद द सिचुएशन ऑफ जापान, बट दे हैव नॉट डन एक्सप्लॉयटेशन ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज, राइट? दे हैव नॉट डन जुडिशियस यूज ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज. सो सिमिलर इज द सिचुएशन इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस नाउ. डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड में अगर मैं बात करूं कि हमें एसेट चाहिए, एसेट कौन है? हमारे यंग पीपल. ठीक है, यंग पीपल क्या है? दिस इज अ सोर्स इन अ कंट्री, बट रिसोर्स को हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? एक्सप्लॉइट करना पड़ेगा. एक्सप्लॉइटेशन कैसे होगी? इफ आई प्रोवाइड देम स्किल्स. ओके, if I provide them skills, there is a huge gap between whatever I am getting education in the institutes and what industries exactly demand from us. There is a huge gap in between. और उसको fulfill करने के लिए what is needed here specifically, the role of the government is what is needed here. That is another part, but along with that what is needed here, it is very important to fill that particular gap, है ना. Skill जो है individual के अंदर आनी चाहिए. It is the responsibility of the institutes also to inculcate skills in them so that they become what? Job ready. This is what is the focus. So we have to ensure that we are inculcating skills in them, and we have to ensure जो हमारा demographic dividend है वो demographic disaster ना बन जाए. डेमोग्राफिक डिजास्टर अगर मेरे को नहीं चाहिए कि जो मेरा रिसोर्स है टाइम रहते मैं उसकी एक्सप्लोटेशन जो है रिसोर्सेज की कर लूँ, ताकि इन द कमिंग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम आई डू नॉट consider, or that doesn't become demographic disaster rather than the demographic dividend. So this is one of the important concept that we have in economics, and every scheme that is there which is related to skills, maybe which is related to the national, which is concerned with the national education policy, and maybe the other things also which is specifically related to education, right? So हम इन skills को या फिर हम इन योजनाओं को, हम इन schemes को क्यों discuss करते हैं, ताकि हमारा जो demographic, जो हमारा जो youth population है या फिर जो हमारा young individuals है, हम उनको turn out कर सके किसमें, demographic dividend में. We do not want our country to become what demographic disaster, right? क्योंकि अगर ये asset हमारे पास है तो let's do judicious use of them. So here there is a completion of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. 10 years have been completed, and if I specifically talk about this initiative, so ये क्या करता है, short term skills provide करता है individuals को, and it makes them job ready. This is the main aim of this particular initiative. Okay, now before jumping on to the exact information about it, so we are celebrating our birthday. So for in this particular event, you can just take any of the sessions. Like if you want to get the coaching of any of the regulatory bodies, maybe RBI, maybe NABARD, SEBI or SIDBI, so you can purchase the subscription. Why? क्योंकि हम सबसे ज़्यादा इस time पे discount provide कर रहे हैं, that is 60% of off, that is what we are providing you people. So you can just enroll yourself and you can get this benefit, right? It is for a shorter period of time, so you can just you need to apply this code which is B day, like birthday, and you will be able to get this discount. This is about the specific details which is about it. This is about the data itself. Okay, abhi tak what we have achieved, and this is not specifically related to Kaushal Vikas Yojana only, but in total जो skill development and entrepreneurship जो हमारी ministry है, what it has achieved. Okay, of course जो हमारी Kaushal Vikas Yojana है, this is not the sole one. When I talk about the initiative, we have other initiatives also. Apprenticeship है, we have other initiatives also, but in total if I talk about this skill development entrepreneurship, so it has empowered 6 crore of Indians through its various of the schemes since 2014, and over 1.6 crore of youth have been trained nationwide since 2015 under this Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Courses have been expanded, and we are trying our best to take help of the various techniques, the upgraded techniques as well. हमारे पास AI है, Internet of Things है, robotics है, digitalization है, so we are taking help of that also. So over 25 lakh of candidates have been trained under Kaushal Vikas Yojana, that is 4.0. It means we are going to discuss 1.0, we are going to discuss 2.0, 3.0, and this is the data about 4.0 solely, which has trained 25 lakh of individuals. Okay, this is what is the data. Now if I talk about this initiative, so सबसे पहले I've told you that Kaushal Vikas Yojana is what that we are focusing towards the Vikas. Okay, we are focusing towards the development. How we can develop? If my youth becomes human asset, okay, my population becomes human asset, उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? Skills को जो है हमें enhance करना पड़ेगा, skills उनके अंदर inculcate करनी पड़ेंगी ताकि they become job ready. So this is one of the initiative which is skill development initiative, and it recognizes and standardizes the skill development. Okay, along with that it encourages the skills, it encourages the aptitude between what employable skills towards employment skills, and increase the working efficiency also. I've already told you that this is implemented under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and this is what is important to take into consideration. Although the other ministries are also there, but specifically if I talk about this ministry, so all it comes under this specific scheme, it comes under it, so it is important to consider that as well. Who can apply? This is one of the important this is important the thing, and maybe if a question is asked, so they can confuse you maybe on this perspective. So it is important to understand for all of us. The scheme applies to only those candidates of Indian nationality who undergo skill development training in eligibility sector by eligible trainer provider, is certified during the span of 1 year from the date of launch from the of the scheme by approved assessment. Along with that, it also take care of is availing of this monetary award for the first and the only time during this operation scheme. The scheme would be implemented through this particular National Skill Development Corporation training partners, and जो हमारे currently National Skill Development Corporations है वो कितने हैं, that is 462 training partners we have. Okay, along with that जो हमारा focus है कौशल विकास योजना का, that is would be improved curricula, better pedagogy and the better trained instructors. Training would include soft skills, personal grooming, behavioral change for cleanliness, good work ethics sector, skill council in the state government government would closely monitor the skills, the training that happen under this Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So this is all about the applicability, and we read about the monitoring part as well. Okay, now this comes here, the sector skills council. Sector skills council एक autonomous body है which again comes under the skill development and entrepreneurship only. But अगर मैं sector skill council की बात करूँ, so it bridges the gap. ठीक है, bridges the gap. कौन सा gap जो है, अगर मैं बात करूँ कि हमारी what skills are required in the industry or what training we are providing them, there is a huge gap between it. Okay, whatever we are studying, we have to become future ready. तो उसके लिए what skills are needed in the industry, उसके बाद जो ये चेक करता है कि हम क्या जो ट्रेनिंग है वो प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, and what industries, what outside market is demanding, if there is a gap between it, so this is very much capable to bridge it out. Now this includes, what is the role of it? सबसे पहले तो identification of the skill development needs. What industry is exactly demanding? Whatever industry is demanding, we will provide them benefits in that way only. Along with that, development of a sector skill development plan and maintaining skill inventory is the plan of it. Determining skill competency standards in the qualification, standardization of affiliation, accreditation, examination and certification. Then we have this conduct skill based assessment and certification for the qualification packs, national occupational standards aligned with the training programs. Along with that, we have participation in the setting of affiliation, accreditation, examination and certification norms for the respective sector. This is another work of it. Along with that, it also trains, plans, facilitates and the execution of training of trainers, along with the national skill development corporation here is what is needed, and the states are also involved here. Along with that, promotion of academies of excellence is one of the work of it. Paying particular attention to the skilling needs of SC, ST, different able people, Divyangjans and the monetary minority groups as well. And this also ensures that the person trained and skilled in accordance with the norms that laid down are assured of the employment, decent wages. So these are the works of it. Now I have already told you that this has been expanded. We have seen Kaushal Vikas Yojana 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 and 4.0 as well. So firstly we are going to talk about 1.0, then we will go towards the 2.0 and the other parts also. If I talk about it, so this is the India's largest skill certification scheme, which is a shorter period of time, like it gives short skills and then it ensures the monetary rewards as well. So it was launched in the year of 2015. Exact date is 15th July 2015, and it encourages the skill development. It comes under the Ministry of Skill Development in that particular ministry as well. And if I talk about the initiatives which have been taken by that, so it improves the free short duration skilled training and incentivize for this by providing what monetary rewards to school, this particular youth for skill certification. Implementation की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so I have already told you that this comes under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. This thing is clear to all of you now. Now it is implemented by the National Skill Development Corporation (NSDC) under the guidance of the Ministry of Skill Development and the Entrepreneurship. Right? Key components क्या है? सबसे पहले I told that this training is for a shorter period of time. Monetary rewards is what is given here. Special projects are allocated here. Recognition of the prior learning. Okay, कोई अगर ऐसा individual है कि if they have learned something which is beyond their regular studies, अगर उनके पास पहले से कुछ knowledge है, then they need the certificates from that particular institute where they where they have already got knowledge from that particular institute. So they need certificates of that and they collect, and then accordingly special projects are allocated to them. Kaushal Rozgar Mela etc. Outcomes क्या थे? So 15-16 में we saw that 19.85 lakh candidates were trained, and during this pilot phase 15 to 16, 19.85 lakh candidates were trained here. Okay. Along with that, if I talk about 2.0, so it was initiated in the year of 16 to 20, and it was launched by scaling up both in terms of sector and geography, and by great alignment with the other missions of the government of India, like Make in India, Digital India, Swachh Bharat, etc. So there was an integration, there was an expansion of it. Okay, budget allocation kya tha? That was 12,000 crore, and along with that, central sponsored, centrally managed tha. This component was implemented by the NSDC only. 75% of the Kaushal Vikas Yojana 2016-2020 funds and corresponding physical targets have been allocated under this particular NCSM, which is central sponsored, central management. और उसके बाद we have central sponsored, state managed. Okay, now this ensures that this component was implemented by the state government through state skill development mission. 25% have been allocated to it, funds have been allocated to it. Outcome क्या था? More than 1.2 crore of youth have been trained oriented through an improved standardized skilling ecosystem in the country under this particular initiative that includes 1.0 and 2.0 also. Okay, now what does it include? That 110 like 1.10 crore of candidates were trained under this. Then we have 3.0. इसके बाद further expansion हुआ which ensures that 717 districts in which it was launched. It included 28 states and 8 UTs. Specifically it was working towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Or implementation की अगर मैं बात करूँ, that was in a decentralized way. Okay, that was in a decentralized way. It was trying its best to best to reach out to the grassroots levels also. Then it includes the district skill committees under the guidance of State Skill Development Mission shall play a key role in addressing the skill gaps and assessing the demand at the district level. So that is one of the reasons that it was started working at the grassroots level. So grassroots level की अगर मैं बात करूँ, 3.0 that provided us this benefit. Features, so cross utilization of the existing infrastructure for the establishment of the skilling centers, introduction of significant reforms in the assessment ecosystem in the creation of a pool of certified trainers through direct funding of the training of the trainers program. Then we have two special programs here. Customized crash course program for COVID warriors to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. Along with that, we had skill hub initiative also, that was for the integration in the mainstream of the vocational education with the this particular general education, which emphasizes with the this particular envisaged with the national education policy 2020. Okay, इसके अंदर कितने जो individuals थे, कितने candidates who were trained here? So 7.73 lakh of candidates were trained, including 1.20 lakh under the CCCPCW and 1.8 lakh under the SHI. Okay, we have discussed it further, before only. Now we have expansion towards the 4.0 also, which has stressed on the inclusion one. Okay, which has stressed towards the inclusion one. Third में हमने क्या करा था? Grassroots level पे बात करी थी. जो हमारा fourth one है, this talks about the inclusion one. Inclusion means you want to get developed, but you are taking everyone together. If you are taking grassroots level people, that is one of the one. Need individuals, that is another part. If you are taking women along with you, that is another one. And if you are taking the tribal other parts of tribal communities and the other areas also, that makes it conclusive in manner. Now it helps candidates who lost jobs during the pandemic. It will be greater emphasis on reskilling and upskilling. Okay, reskilling and upskilling. Last 3 financial years, that includes 2022-23 to 2023-24 and 2024-25, as on rupees 1,244.52 crore have been utilized across the states, and 25 lakh of candidates have been trained under this particular phase. Now it includes the various instruments which is under it. The training types, I've told about the special projects, so that will be allocated to them. Recognition of the prior learning, so it means अगर कोई भी candidate कहीं कुछ भी उसके पास specific या फिर significant skill है, so they need certification specifically of that particular of that previous the skills which that particular individual had learnt. Then we have short term training also, which includes the courses of 300 से लेके 600 hours तक. Now we have the target group eligibility and the geographical coverage also. Target group की अगर मैं short term training की बात करूँ, so it targets those individuals who are the fresh individuals here. Reskilling, upskilling is the focus here. Along with that, out of college candidates, school college dropouts, unemployed youth in India, and specifically अगर मैं 4.0 की बात करूँ, so हम भी उन individuals को target कर रहे हैं who have lost their job. Then we have the special projects. Marginalized, vulnerable groups को दिया जाता है, etc. require special attention or jobs with a focus on the future skills. So these special projects are for them. Then we have recognition of the prior learning. I've told you already that those individuals who have already some skill are willing to get their assessed, and the certification will also be provided to them. What is the eligibility criteria? So I've told you already in the eligibility one. Age group इनके लिए क्या रहेगा? 15 से लेके 45 years, इनके लिए 15 to 45 years, and specifically for the recognition of prior learning, 18 to 59 years. Geographical coverage is here, which includes the aspirational districts, backward districts, underserved and unserved areas, also left wing extremism affected districts, including skilling requirement for the other countries here. Okay, along with that, this is the success of 4.0. So now is the focus towards the other things, जैसे industry 4.0. industry 4.0 क्या है कि अगर हम integration करते हैं, अगर हम more focus करते हैं AI के ऊपर, internet of things के ऊपर, robotics के ऊपर, that makes us industry 4.0. Okay, web 3.0 is the focus. Augmented reality is the one here. Climate change, circular economy, green economy, etc. as the focus here. Greater reliance किसके ऊपर है? On the job training के ऊपर for the best practical exposure. Then we have focus on reskilling and upskilling under this recognition of prior learning. And then we have flexibility of the course curriculum also, which is introduced in partnership with industries. Cross utilization of available infrastructure with the education institutes, that institutes of national importance, schools, colleges, university and the other areas. Training will be aligned with the national prior and policy announcements focusing on the cluster sector, like semiconductor we have, 5G we have, then we have AI, then we have this green hydrogen EV and the other areas also. Okay, now this is about the crux, as in what it has achieved. PM Kaushal Yojana 1.0, what it has achieved. These are the numbers which I've already told you. You can just decode it by yourself also. 2.0 में हमने क्या achieve करा, 3.0 में क्या achieve करा और 4.0 में हम क्या achieve कर रहे हैं. Okay, so this is what you need to get through this. Now we are going to talk about the data, which is completely which completely talks about the special projects, maybe that prior learning, one recognition of the prior learning and the other areas also. So this includes सबसे पहले special projects जिनका target क्या है, हमारे जो marginalized section of society है उनको target करना, जो कि कुछ ना कुछ जो है वो special treatment जो है that need. So target skilling for marginalized group including training 2500 of Bru tribe candidates in Tripura, jail inmates and in Assam and the Manipur, and 13,834, 70% of women under this particular PUNK project across 18 states. Okay, traditional crafts and upskilling. So 3.0, under 3.0, 2,243 women were trained in Jammu Kashmir Namda craft. This particular RPL upskilling project for artisans and weavers in Nagaland and J&K trade. How many candidates? 9,605 candidates. Both projects were led by the handicraft and the carpet sector skill council. Mainstream skilling is also part of it, which includes flagship initiatives like PM Surya Ghar, Vibrant Village Program, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Program, Jal Jeevan Mission, Green Hydrogen, embedding skills into these schemes for a broader impact of these many skills, and which leads to development as well. Then we have COVID-19 response. So nearly 1.2 lakh of health workers were trained to provide them help. Skill hub initiative is also part of it. Over 1.3 lakh youth have been trained using schools, colleges and vocational hubs, and that too with the in accordance with the national education policy. Then we have recognition of prior learning, which includes informal worker skills are formally recognized, boosting employability without lengthy training. Along with that, we have digital and outcome driven reforms, which includes digital skill, Skill India Digital Hub, tracks training digitally, ensures Aadhaar-based verification, validation and links payment to performance. Then we have academic mobility as well, which includes integration with the skill qualification with academic bank of credits, also ABC, enabling transfer of credits between skill and the formal education. So this is entirely about this Kaushal Vikas Yojana. This is entirely about what we have achieved, not specifically in this particular initiative, but the other parts as well. Okay, it includes 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 and the 4.0 as well. So this is more about the data, static data, and less about the concepts. Whatever important concept is there, I've told you already, and integration with the static portion is also done here. So thank you so much for joining this particular session. I hope this session was helpful for all of you. Just make sure that wherever you have made notes of your static portion, just integrate this particular initiative there, because 10 years have been completed, and if the question is asked, you need to mention it in this way. Along with that, if a question is asked maybe in the descriptive part, specifically not about the scheme but indirectly if they ask you a question, so you just mention this particular data, and you just mention this particular scheme as well in the form of this is an example. Okay, all right, thank you so much for joining the session. If you have any doubt, you can just pin that in the comment section. I'll of course address it. Thank you so much for joining the session. Bye bye. Thank you.